Welcome to This Explainer. Let's be real for a second. Whether you're landing your very first job or you're just transitioning into a brand new career, the endless mountain of paperwork, the strict rules, and all that dense legal jargon can feel absolutely overwhelming. So today, we're going to follow a young professional named Sofia. She actually just moved to a new city and snagged a job at a large electronics store to help save up some money for college. By following her journey from day one, we're going to help you clearly understand essential workplace vocabulary, the paperwork you need, and most importantly, the actual rights you hold as an employee.
Today, we will explore 5 key steps of Sofia's employment journey. First, the offer and the contract. Second, labor laws and employee rights. Third, payroll, background checks, and ID. Fourth, negotiating your salary. And finally, number 5, insurance and the employee handbook.
All right, let's dive right in. Section 1, the offer and contract, reviewing documents and spotting traps.
Our story kicks off when Sofia gets this super exciting email officially offering her a position as a sales associate. Now, obviously, she's thrilled, but her older brother gives her some incredibly wise advice. He tells her, before you start, make sure you understand every single document you sign. It sounds basic, right? But it's so important. So when Sofia meets with the HR manager the very next day, she's handed a contract. And she doesn't just sign it blindly. She actually makes sure to review it incredibly carefully, checking her job title, her exact work schedule, the salary, her benefits, and all her responsibilities. To review a contract simply means to examine it carefully before you actually agree to the terms and conditions.
But here's where things get interesting. Have you ever read a contract closely enough to spot a trap? Because when Sofia really does that careful reading, she spots something pretty alarming. Right there in the fine print, she sees this sentence: employees may be required to work without meal breaks. Now, because she had already learned a bit about employee rights, she immediately hits the brakes and asks the manager, wait, is that legal?
Well, the HR manager quickly backpedals and admits it's a total mistake. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is understanding what an illegal clause is. That's a specific section of a contract that literally violates the law. You see, an employer cannot just write whatever rules they want into a legally binding agreement. As an employee, you need to be highly aware of clauses that try to remove your legal rights, deny your required breaks, prevent you from reporting workplace problems, or force you into unpaid work. Reading the fine print carefully is exactly what protected Sofia from agreeing to unfair treatment right out of the gate.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, labor laws and rights, understanding your protections.
After spotting that illegal clause, Sofia's HR manager takes the time to explain exactly how the law steps in to protect her, and honestly, every other worker, through labor laws. These laws are basically there to ensure fair wages, safe workplaces, equal treatment, and protection from any kind of discrimination. There are core employee rights you should absolutely always remember. You have the right to be paid correctly. You have the right to a safe workplace. You have the right to report problems without any fear of retaliation. And you have the right to receive overtime, which is just extra pay for working additional hours whenever it's required. Unfortunately, we all know not every employer follows the rules. During her orientation, another employee actually shares a story about a previous, pretty terrible boss who frequently paid his workers late and just outright refused to pay overtime. The HR manager points out that this is a textbook example of predatory employer practices. These are unfair or dishonest actions that take advantage of employees. Other major warning signs would include forcing unpaid work or threatening employees who try to make a complaint. You really have to be able to recognize these signs so you can protect yourself.
Moving right along to Section 3, payroll, background checks, and ID, getting set up to get paid.
Now, before Sofia even clocks in for her very first day, the company conducts a background check. A background check is simply a review of an applicant's history where the employer verifies your identity, your education, your work history, and sometimes even criminal records. To complete this whole verification process, Sofia has to prove exactly who she says she is by providing an identification document, or ID. The most common acceptable forms to bring are a driver's license, a passport, or a state identification card.
Next up, she tackles her payroll forms. Payroll is just the system a company uses to calculate and distribute employee pay, and setting it up requires some personal, tax, and banking information. And this brings us to the modern magic of direct deposit. It is an electronic transfer of money directly into a bank account. No waiting around for some paper check to clear. Sofia's paycheck is going to automatically arrive right in her bank account. But wait,
There is a catch here, and the manager specifically warned Sofia about it. When you're filling out that direct deposit form, you need absolute accuracy. That means information that is correct, complete, and 100% free from mistakes. Think about it. If Sofia swaps just one single digit in her account number, her hard-earned paycheck goes into the void and could be seriously delayed. So always verify your information.
Now we arrive at Section 4, Negotiating Your Salary, asking for what you're worth.
So, a few weeks into the hiring process, Sofia learns her starting pay is going to be $18 an hour. It's good, but she has some past experience, and she kind of wonders if she can ask for a little bit more. Before doing that, though, it's critical to understand the exact type of compensation you are receiving. A salary is a fixed annual amount. Hourly pay, on the other hand, is based on the exact hours you work. Sofia, in this case, is receiving an hourly wage.
Sofia decides to do something that honestly intimidates a lot of people. She initiates a negotiation. This is an incredibly important skill in the professional world. It's simply a discussion between two parties to reach an agreement. You see, employees don't just have to accept the very first offer handed to them. They can often negotiate their salary, their hourly pay, vacation time, or even benefits. So Sofia professionally explains her previous experience and simply asks, based on my background, I would like to request a higher rate.
And guess what? It works. Thanks to her confidence in negotiating and properly highlighting her previous experience, the manager agrees to raise her pay to $19 an hour. That is a 5-minute conversation that will literally pay off for every single hour she works from then on. Finally, let's move to our last section, number 5, Insurance and the Handbook. Benefits and workplace rules. Now that Sofia is officially hired and her pay is locked in, she learns about her benefits, specifically health insurance. Insurance, as a quick refresher, is just financial protection against unexpected costs or losses, like medical emergencies. When she's choosing a plan, she has to look at the monthly premium cost, the actual coverage, the network of doctors, and crucially, the deductible. The deductible is the amount you have to pay out of your own pocket before the insurance actually begins covering any costs. She completes her registration forms to officially enroll in the plan that best fits her budget.
And lastly, on her very first day on the job, Sofia is handed the Employee Handbook. This is basically your master guide explaining all the workplace rules, policies, benefits, and expectations. It includes everything: the company mission, the attendance policies, safety expectations, and anti-harassment policies. This handbook immediately becomes Sofia's absolute most important workplace reference for maintaining compliance and staying out of trouble.
The handbook is great because it breaks down some really critical concepts. For instance, it clearly separates a policy, which is the workplace rule itself, like needing to notify a supervisor when you're absent, from a procedure. A procedure is the exact step-by-step instructions you are required to take to actually follow that policy. It also defines her total rewards package. It clarifies the compensation includes all cash payments, like her hourly wage and overtime, while benefits are the non-cash rewards, like her health insurance and paid time off. Understanding these distinctions really helps employees make informed financial and professional decisions. To give you a concrete idea, let's look at that procedure for being absent. The expectation isn't just deciding to stay home in bed. The procedure involves 3 exact steps. 1. Call your supervisor. 2. Submit an official absence request. And 3. Update the scheduling system. Understanding the difference between a general rule and the required procedure ensures Sofia meets her workplace expectations perfectly, leaving absolutely zero room for disciplinary misunderstandings. So, as we wrap this up, let's quickly recap Sofia's keys to success, which, by the way, are now your keys to success. Always review your contracts carefully to catch those sneaky illegal clauses. Take the time to understand your labor laws so you can spot predatory practices from miles away. Fill out your payroll and direct deposit forms with total absolute accuracy. Never be afraid to step up and negotiate your pay professionally. And lastly, actually read your employee handbook so you understand your benefits and your workplace procedures inside and out. By following Sofia's journey, we've seen that understanding your rights and knowing the vocabulary are the ultimate tools for managing your career wisely. Now that you know exactly what to look for, what questions to ask, and the real power you hold as an employee, I want to leave you with this thought. Your signature is quite literally your most powerful asset. Are you ready to confidently protect your rights and review your next contract? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.